And part 4, ideograms or ideograms. I don't know what the pronunciation is, but that's the concept. And let's continue with them. So why do we do this? Why is this stage 1? First of all, the ideogram is something that makes the first contact between you sitting in a room somewhere at the desk with a paper and pen and the target, which might be some Russian bunker or some really weird stuff, wherever the tasker sent you to via that code that he gave you. Why do we use the code? Because we don't want to be front-loaded. If you don't know about front-loading, please see my other video, Associative Remote Viewing 1 of 2. Towards the end you'll find out about front-loading. This does need to be a code, not a question. Not where is my kid which was kidnapped, but 34G7X. That's the whole question. That's all that we need to make a session. So we use ideograms and we decode them because we need to keep the logical mind occupied and not idle at all. It's a quick thing. You write the code quickly, you do the ideogram quickly, and decode it. And then, if you get those flashes of various images as you do the decoding, those are always, or at least that's what I do, they are always declared as AOL, because they're like, how shall I say this, you're not supposed to get the final end result of what target is at this early stage. So, if something feels like a wheel, doesn't mean the target is a wheel. It means maybe the target is a car or a whole series of cars and you just touched one wheel of them. So that's why you say AOL. If you get several of them and they're sort of consistent and in the same direction, then you have a clue what the target is about. If they're all about mechanics and technical and racing, then it's involving cars. If they're about ocean, life forms, jellyfish and ships and so on, then you know the target is in some sort of marine, oceanic setting. So that's what we do with ideograms. I should say a word or two about low-level descriptors and high-level descriptors. Low-level descriptors are, if memory serves me well, just simple words. Is it natural? Is it organic? Is it man-made, metallic, and so on and so forth? If you say metal circle, that's pretty okay, that's low level. If you say wheel bearing, that's a high level descriptor, because wheel bearing denotes a specific type of circle and a complex device which works in a specific way, and it's pretty high level. That's usually AOL, at least in this stage, in this early stage of contact. Now, so keep to low-level descriptors when decoding ideograms as much as possible. So you say person or being or someone of with a religious air about them, not a priest or a bishop or anything like that specific with a lot of implications. Let's talk about aperture. I hope the pronunciation is correct on my part. The aperture in photography is the, the opening. How much light gets through from the target to the film to make the photographic impression. So if you're looking through a very small keyhole, you'll see just a little bit of the target. If you look to a small needle-size hole in something, you'll just see a few bits of the target. So, in stage 1 with the first ideograms, what's happening is your awareness goes and touches a few points of the target. And it's usually going to the most relevant points, but still it's just a few points. For instance, if your target is a car, you may feel the engine. You may feel that it's something squarish looking and technological and hard and metallic, man-made. And yeah, that's it. Or you might feel a wheel, or you might feel something else. What's important to keep in mind about this is that if this is the whole target, the whole picture, every ideogram, especially in the beginning stages, is like a piece of the puzzle, and you get a piece from here, a piece from here, a piece from here, and there's no real way of telling from the start what the end result of the puzzle will be. The more pieces you get, the closer you'll get to the real interpretation. But you can't say just because you got a wheel that the target is a wheel. No, it may be something that has to do with wheels. It may be a Ferris wheel, it may be a wedding ring, anything. That's why we have a whole session and not just guesswork like, I know what, yeah. So, what we will find is the following, and this has been observed empirically. When you start the session, your aperture is very small. It's just a point. Your mind gets inside the engine, inside the whatever is there. As you work with it, as you do a couple of videograms, the aperture starts to open up a bit. And you see, like you had 3 or 4 pieces of the puzzle together, or 6 or 9, and it's just a bit larger pieces. You still don't have the complete image of what the target is, but you have greater chunks of it. And so you can try to draw at least some conclusions. If it's all air, so if you're looking at the photograph and you see this, and it's air, and this is air, and this, and this, and this is also air, you might start to draw the conclusion that it's an aerial target. So it's something where somebody took a photograph of the sky with something in it, a balloon or a chopper or whatever. Same thing for underwater, in the desert, so on and so forth. So just keep in mind that you have a small aperture to start with, and it will increase as you work with the same target. So, yeah. Right. Now, it must be said that what I do, the way I use this, is not necessarily the standard by the book way. I just learned a few methods of remote viewing and took what I found is best for me, or what I remember, because I'm pretty lazy and I don't like to practice hours upon hours. What I do is just I do a few ideograms, I decode them, I get my AOLs, which are somewhat accurate, but they just give me a sort of feel for the target. Is it natural? Is it outdoors, indoors, whatever. And then I move on to stage 2.